All right, so, whoa. Is it possible to have a GenServer without the server? Hi, my name is Daniel Azuma. I work at this place, and a few weeks ago, I had this really terrible idea. So I was thinking about how GenServers work. You know, internally, a GenServer is just a function, right? It runs in a process. It runs repeatedly in response to messages that get sent to the process. And each time, the function returns some state, which then gets passed into the next iteration of the function. So, you know, GenServers, basically that's how it works. There's a few other additional features. But this architecture looks kind of similar to another common architecture that some people use. And that's serverless in the cloud, right? Like functions as a service. So in a serverless app, you might have a function that runs in response, in the cloud in response to events, messages that get sent on a message queue, like Kafka or additional message queuing systems. And any state gets persisted outside the function in a database someplace. So you might need to put in a little additional logic to make sure things operate serially. But otherwise, if you kind of squint, these architectures are just basically the same architecture. And so conceivably, you could implement one on top of the other. So imagine writing something like this, something that kind of looks like a GenServer. You define the same kinds of callbacks in it, handle cast, and so forth. But what if these callbacks run, instead of running in a GenServer process, they run in the cloud, in a serverless environment, right? Yeah, it's a terrible idea, right? It's a terrible idea. It is kind of intriguing, though. So just for kicks, I tried implementing it. What I did was I spun up kind of serverless functions in Cloud Run, which is it's a product as part of Google Cloud. I used Google PubSub for the queue. I tried using Google Firestore to persist the state. Kind of doesn't work as well. It's not designed for this kind of application. So it turns out something like Redis might work better. Didn't have time to change my implementation, so I have it kind of working sort of on Firestore. So let me show you a quick demo of this if I have time. Actually, first off, here's the code that I'm going to be running in this kind of GenServerless process. It's a simple accumulator. You cast numbers at it, and it keeps a running total. I also rigged up a quick and dirty cloud logger so that you can see the callbacks being run in the cloud because they're running in the cloud, and you can't actually see them in the console. So let me switch over really quick. So let's see, I'll just do this here. So up here, I'm going to stream my logs, and hopefully the Wi-Fi starts up. So we'll start by starting a GenServerless in the cloud, and if the Wi-Fi is working, we should see. There it is. So the init function got called in the serverless environment. Now we can cast some numbers at it, and we should see those functions getting called. Wi-Fi is a little bit slow right now, and is it going to happen? It's a cast. Well, yeah, but it should be generating a log, which I'm listening to at this other process. And it's not working. Great. Live demos in the lightning talk are always fun. OK, but anyway, you'll have to, it was working. So let me go back out of here. How do I get out of this now? Here we go. Let's just get this out of here. Oh, okay. Anyway, so it's working. It is a terrible idea, but there are a few things that I still have to figure out. But it does show that there are some interesting affinities between these two things, Beam and serverless, that generally don't work that well together. So if you have some ideas, some thoughts on this, I'd love to talk to you. Come find me.